Good afternoon, everyone. This is David Wetton speaking. I'm going to be giving you a quick demo of a file, accident statistics in this case, to show you some of the mapping features, some of the special products that we talked about in Microsoft BI Excel. Since this file was drawn from a corporate data source in the United States, of course, it's already asking me if I want to enter my password and update, in which case I'm saying no. I'm quite happy with the current data. This data file contains information on all the statistics from the United States for 2011, age, fatalities, crash dates, gender, race, roadway, state, etc. Now I want to use some graphical tools to present this information in a way that presumably users would be able to understand very quickly and maybe even query it. One of the tools that we normally use in this product, of course, is dashboards. Those are available through the slicers, generally. They allow you to put different attributes on the board and you build a dashboard. You can save it locally, share it corporately. If you create a corporate product, of course, it's available through SharePoint and anyone can use it with just a browser. So I've made selections here as to which I want to see on the dashboard. Press OK and they pop up here. Now it's just a matter of moving them around onto the dashboard for just personal or aesthetic reasons. So now I've started to move things into the places I want. I notice there's a kind of a gap over here. Maybe I'll toss in another slicer. I'm adjusting the size of how much information is on display by varying it. Just a question now of just finding that optimal balance. Now considering a few color options, just basic. I'll go with this one for starters. And since I can see most of the data in these slicers, I prefer the things not to bounce around when I select. In cases where the data actually is outside the box range and it scrolls, and obviously you want the items to sort to the top, but in these cases I prefer them not to. Makes it easier to kind of read the chart. So in about 2 minutes you've taken that set of data from its raw state and have now created a user-friendly dashboard. This could be on your desktop or shared corporately, in which case anyone with access to the corporate site, all they need is a web browser to use it. The theme of this meeting though is on maps primarily, so let's go over to the mapping tool, Power View. This opens up a Power View window with all of the available options, and you can see already, because this is coming from Azure, it's a very good data set, so it already understands a lot of the metadata without having to be told. So next thing we do is we bring some information in to get started, and we press the map button. Maps just open up. Again, if you're doing this once for yourself or corporately, you just do it once as well and save it. Logically, we need numeric data, so we're going to look at those, in that case, fatalities. The color field is really something we might want to consider in terms of looking at the distribution of the data to provide meaningful information. So in a nutshell, that's just about it in terms of 2D mapping. We can do a couple of things like move gender up to the tabs. That way we can see the difference. Maybe bring down drug involvement into that and see how it impacts based on gender. Maybe just filter on one gender. Let's see how. So again, the information is now displayed in terms of the fatalities in a crash by gender, state, and drug involvement. So again, you can mix and match. Going back to the data, we're now going to try the Power Map feature. I've already created a map. 3D maps are obviously a very special type feature, which only really makes sense when the data truly supports it, where you can create meaningful outputs. It's not a replacement for data analysis, it's an enhancement, particularly if you're trying to give presentations. Tables may be very useful for analysts. Maps, however, are very useful when presenting to communities, business leaders, managers, and even other people who are not really that interested in the raw data. But the pictures do tell a story. Because this information contained data information, the system will automatically drop a time player in it, which will then allow you to see how your data evolves over time. Various options up here on the toolbar from creating video, which might actually be a more useful function. Create a video 3D map and tour, which you can use during a presentation. This is not really a query tool. And perhaps you don't want to see the round globe. You can just as easily flatten the world. So you can, yes, the world is flat. What do you know? Depends again on the visuals. Turn on labels, change the background, standard features. You can also just take pictures along the way, just like you would in PowerPoint, and literally just play the slide through time. It'll take you on a tour. You could also be capturing this in an MP4 file. So it's often a question of what message are you trying to convey with your data? What does it support? Just because you can do a 3D map doesn't mean it's necessarily a great tool for the purpose. So part of it, I see 3D maps as being a supplement to a verbal presentation. They would rarely stand alone.